Oh, yeah, there it is.
There it is. Alex,
Hello.
what's up, buddy?
Not much. I didn't
I
know if you had like an intro that you did,
Nope.
but
No,
yeah, you just
it's
go
just the
for it. I
banging
should
on the
have
drum for
known.
a sec.
I should have known. I've listened to this and I should have known that you just go into it. So,
Yeah, I
hey,
mean,
I'll do your intro.
yeah, please.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome
go
to
ahead.
Evolving with Corey. We've got Cornelius Castle here, and I'm Alex Velluto. There you go.
There it is.
That's what we call a hostile takeover. I just took over your podcast.
Well,
Look
if you
at
have
me.
listened,
This is
listened
my
to the show.
podcast now.
If you have listened to the show, at the end of the show, not in the beginning, at the very end of the show, I hypothetically gift you the show. That's the way it always goes. But in the beginning of the show, we'll switch it up. We'll switch it up this time. It's you get the you gifted the show,
And I'll give it back to you.
and at the end of the show, maybe you give it back. I don't know.
See.
I'm really flexible in this.
Okay. Good.
I just want to say before anything at all, I just want to make sure I say I'm so excited to meet you, man. This is a pleasure for me.
Oh, same.
I feel like when I watched your special, I was like, this guy should be a superstar. I don't know, like this guy's hilarious.
What the hell?
This guy's hilarious. Everybody should know how good this dude, it was such a good special. Like that's like the perfect special. Like there was not anything that didn't like bang it out of the field. You know what I mean? It was
nice. Thanks,
so
man.
good.
Oh, that means
smart.
a lot.
It was a good ass special.
Oh,
What's the special called one more time?
Did you watch Alex Velluto Presents Alex Velluto?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Such a good.
You know how it's always like Kevin Hart presents this person.
Yeah.
I called Kevin Hart and he's like, nah. So I just presented myself.
Right. Well, you're a present to us all.
Yeah, I present. That was a present.
Not a re-gifted gift. Direct
nice.
gift right to you from me.
Nice. Thanks, man. Well, thanks for watching too.
Dude, it was so good. So what is it like? What's the scene like in Utah? Like,
it's great, actually.
Where
yeah.
You filmed it?
Yeah, I did, and I did it before COVID. Luckily.
Yeah.
I was wanting to. I know. I knew it was coming, and so I heard about the bats and the pangolins, and so I decided to film it real quick and put it out there. No, it's good. We've got a Wise Guys Comedy Club, which is a really well respected comedy club in Utah, and then that Dry Bar comedy thing is out here too. So we've got some comedy stuff happening out in Utah.
I'm totally removed from the pulse of Utah's comedy scene.
That's okay.
Not have my fingers on the
Most
pulse.
people are. That's fine. I get it. I totally understand.
So amazed by it, and that's why I was like, is this what like if you were like made the move to like L.A. or like New York or something? I think
I was wanting to, and then the dude ate the bat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have you ever thought about that guy? He just decided to eat a bat, and I wonder if he lived.
It was like Wuhan, like flea market or something. Like dude, people eat all kinds of weird stuff in Wuhan, I'm sure.
If he lived through the COVID that he got as patient zero, and he's just watching everything, I hope he's like, oh shit, what did I do? Sorry, everybody. This is awkward. It wasn't even that good. It wasn't even that good. I didn't cook it right, and I'm sorry, everybody.
My bat.
Yeah, my bat. Perfect. That's a T-shirt that we make for Patient Zero. Yeah, it has a number 0 and a My Bat on it. Whoa, what's that giant jug of stuff?
It's water with stuff in it.
Oh, it's like electrolytes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I'm a kind of a meathead, so I gotta get up my BCAAs and my aminos in and such.
Ooh, is that what is that water? The alkaline? Is it alkaline?
No,
Oh,
it's regular ass water, but
with stuff in it.
It's got some stuff.
I'm just trying to relate. I know people like the alkaline water.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk water, Corey.
Yeah, you know.
Let's talk. Let's get the hard-hitting issues here.
People aren't going on podcasts these days and putting over the importance of being hydrated AF. People need to be more hydrated.
Sure, if you say so. I'm against it. I'm anti-hydration. I don't believe in the hype. I think it's all propaganda, all this water business.
Don't buy into what Big Water is trying to put out there.
I do unequivocally deny. Look, I'm on some message boards, and there's this mysterious guy named W. He's a friend of Q from QAnon, and he's got all sorts of facts about water and the fluoride and the government and the Clintons. So, yeah.
It's 4chan is the website.
4chan. Oh, man, you pun god over here. Good work.
The Pundertaker is the nickname I've been given.
That should be your wrestling name, bro. I'm the Pundertaker. Before you do a move, you do a pun associated with it.
Yeah.
Like Arnold. That's how Arnold kills people in the movies.
Yeah.
I wonder if he
I did.
He's got to get writer's block sometimes. He's like, hang on, I'm going to kill you, but I have to think of a pun. Hold on a minute.
Did you ever see Last Action Hero? Like he was like a parody of himself where he just kind of like made puns on stuff. Like, Did you see the movie? Or
I didn't,
am I giving you
that sounds very Arnold-y
for
to me.
A 30-year-old movie?
There's a statute of limitation on spoilers.
Yeah. But, well, they do spoil statues now. They pull them down.
Are you
there's statue?
You're in Philly. Did they do that to the Rocky statue?
No, that's still there. That's still there.
Okay, good. As long as they don't cancel Stallone.
Rocky's like an all-loving, all-accepting. Like he didn't ever judge anybody, and he wasn't racist. He took care of Paulie's sister, who she was clearly like Down syndrome. Or on the Asperger's spectrum,
I never thought of that, but Adrian for sure is on the on the spectrum.
And Paulie was kind of a racist dickhead, and and Rock was like, "Come on, Paulie, stop being such an asshole." Mm-hmm. He was kind of preaching the wokeness before wokeness was a thing.
Yeah,
and he became such close friends with Apollo Creed that they were playing around on the beach. They were goofing around, splashing each other.
He deserves a statue, just based off of all of the fictional accomplishments he had, 100%.
And also, he said the very famous line: "If I can change and you can change, we all
can change." That ended the Cold War. It was incredible.
That was the end of it.
I always say Rocky IV is the best Rocky IV of all the Rocky IVs.
Yeah, there's never been a Rocky IV quite as good as Rocky.
People say what's the best Rocky movie, and it's Rocky, but the best Rocky IV is Rocky IV.
They really turned up the heat on the Cold War.
Yeah. Boom! The Undertaker strikes again.
The Tombstone Pile Driver. Man, the joke writing, like when it comes to like what sort of like your process and that kind of thing, like like for me it's like I'll have like a couple things that I like jot down. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hit that premise at some mics and then kind of work it out and find where it's got legs. Is that sort of your method, or do you do like write it all out and like make sure you have to hit it the way that it goes?
Well, it depends on how my depression is acting up. If I am feeling especially motivated, I like to write it out. It usually doesn't happen that way. It's usually like, okay, I have this premise, and I'll just go to a mic and try it out. So it's that same way.
Yeah.
But each method has its own pros and cons, and sometimes you feel like you want to do this joke more written, and sometimes you're like, nah, I want to kind of work it out on stage. So it just kind of depends. I'm not a like what should I say? A method snob. Do whatever method that you think works for you. They're all great methods.
So what was the situation like for you? Like, did you have both parents? Did you have siblings? Did you grow up religious? I mean, Utah kind of sometimes
grew up religious. My dad
Mormon.
is from grew up Mormon. Still pretty Mormonish. I try and be a cool Mormon. And my dad's from Italy. He's an immigrant from Italy. He's a comic book artist, so that was interesting growing up. He drew,
That's a fostering creativity.
Yeah,
that's like such a hey.
So now, like my whole career, I just have to top his, which is gonna be hard.
He drew comics. I am a comic. He drew me. He drew me.
It's right. And so so here's a funny story. So he did this comic called Firebrand. He was in charge of like helping revamp it. It's a DC comic.
Firebrand.
Right. And sorry if I'm slurry today. I was at the dentist, so that's why I sound like I'm drunk.
About how drunk you are.
Oh no, yeah.
Sorry, I'm slurry.
I'm Mormon, but I'm like totally plastered right now.
Like, do you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
And then Rick. It's like if I didn't want to be drunk, I wouldn't be drunk. Like if I didn't want to drink, I wouldn't be drunk right now.
Have you watched Back to the Future after watching Rick and Morty? My reaction was like, man, they took a lot of this stuff in Back to the Future from Rick and Morty. This is crazy.
No, I haven't gone back and watched that. I mean, maybe I have, but I didn't. I mean, Back to the Future is such like it can just be on in the background and you don't need to be consuming it as it's happening.
Yeah, it's fun to watch it after you've watched Rick and Morty because you notice all the things that Back to the Future stole from Rick and Morty, not the other way around, because I have no idea when things were made. Well, but anyway, so Firebrand. Yes. And the hero's alter ego's name was Alex Gomez, so he named him after me because my name's Alex, not Gomez. But
your middle name, your middle name's not Gomez.
That'd be cool. My middle name's Mario.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Italian.
Yep, very Italian. So you haven't heard of Firebrand because that it lasted for 6 issues, and I was about 8 at the time. So imagine my emotional roller coaster going from I'm a superhero to nobody cares about me as a superhero.
So that gave you more than 6 issues yourself.
Yeah, it gave me lots of issues. And they did bring Firebrand back in the comics, I heard, and for 1 issue. Mm-hmm. And I asked my comic book fan friend, what happened to him in the comic? And he said he got stabbed in the neck immediately. On the first, he was there for a page in one.
Page 1, neck stab.
Got stabbed in the neck. So I exist in the DC universe. I am. No one's interested in me, and I have a weak neck. So you can tell it's based off of my life. Because if you stab me in the neck, I share that attribute with Firebrand. If you stab us in the neck, we die.
I'm a superhero in the DC universe. My only weakness is getting stabbed in the neck.
Which is dumb, because my neck is made of fire in the comics, so I don't know how he stabs him in the neck.
He has a water blade.
I guess it was just like for show, the fire neck, but
no wonder you hate water so much.
I do,
because fire neck.
I am Firebrand, and my enemy is water. That's how they should have took me out in the comics. Just pour a thing of water on my neck.
H2 no.
That's right, Pundertaker.
I'm here to say H2 no.
Is anyone keeping score? You're like 10 for 10 on these. This is incredible to witness. It's like watching LeBron play. You're just it's awe-inspiring, your pun abilities.
No one's ever compared me to a real athlete. That's amazing.
You are a real athlete.
Like, pro wrestling's fake, though.
The shape you have to be in isn't fake, and the moves you have to do aren't fake. That's what I didn't get growing up.
I was
even if it is fake, it's cool.
I was laughing about this today because my jaw hurts a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I if I yawn sometimes, my jaw hurts. I'm like, my jaw's messed up from all the fake punches I've taken in the face because wrestling's fake.
Oh, I thought it was because you had to make the punch in the face where you're like, yeah, and that's got to tire your jaw out after a while.
Just sell the fake punches. Oh!
And sometimes your jaw goes in the opposite direction, like it goes towards the punch. You got to keep track of it. Like with real fighting, that's not as much brain power goes into it. Because if you get punched in the face, your head goes naturally the one way. I
think the idea of it is what the way I look at it and why I like what I do way better than that is because I'm not under the illusion that I'm winning anything. It's not like a competitive sport. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's a show, and it's about like putting on the best performance. It's about getting the audience into it, and it's not about like winning or losing. And sometimes people in a competitive sport get their ego so wrapped up in it, and it's like, oh, if I lose, it's the most important thing. I've been training for this for months. And, you know, you saw Rocky IV. He was running with those logs.
Yeah, you also have fictional achievements, so good for you. You share that with Rocky. I hope they make you a statue one day as well.
I hope so.
He's the only person in the country with the statue for his fictional achievements, and I find that very admirable. So, how does it work in your wrestling league? Are there writers, or do you kind of decide amongst yourselves how the plot is going to go?
It's the Wild West, man. It's the Indies. You know what I mean? It's not like there's no like president of a company. It's like you work for all different places, and like you get paid like $20 or something. It's like doing comedy or being in a cover band. It's like it's not any.
I'm sure. I've always wondered that about wrestling because do you know Marcus Hardy? He was on Last Comic Standing, and he's from Utah. He's dabbled in wrestling. His wife is Marty Daniels. She's a female wrestler. No. Anyway, so they're like up and coming. I'll go for it.
Oh, the only friend of mine who did Last Comic Standing was Monroe Martin.
Oh, cool.
And I guess I think Todd Glass was on the first season.
Oh yeah, he's so funny. You know Todd Glass?
Yeah.
What? He's so funny. That's rad. Anyway, so I've always wondered that about wrestling, though. I assume it's a lot like stand-up, where you have to come and pay your dues and work your way up. And
here's why I like comedy. This is why I like doing comedy. Because if a joke doesn't land, no one's hitting me with anything. There's no consequence. to like telling a joke that doesn't get over. I don't get punched in the face. I don't have to take my clothes off. Like, all of that stuff is great.
Oh, there you go.
I just show up to a place with my clothes on. I don't ever have to take them off. I don't have to put on different clothes.
Like, that's awesome. So every time someone tells me I couldn't do what you do, it's so hard, I'm like, well, you should try professional wrestling. It's even harder.
Take your clothes off.
Yeah, you have to do. So is it kind of improv, or does like when you get to the show they tell you like what's gonna happen?
I mean, it's different everywhere, man. It's always different. It's like, you know, it's like a depending on who you're working with and what their level of experience is. You know, some people like to call out every single thing. Some people like to just like let it go and like figure it out while you're out there. It's just like comedy. It's exactly the same thing. It's like,
that's awesome.
Like, it's like writing methods. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yes, comedy and wrestling are just the same. Like, I have friends in comedy who will be like, "Oh, I've read so many wrestlers' books, and in the books, it's just like they're writing about comedy." So,
well, that's cool. Well, you're in part of the entertainment industry that I didn't know was so related.
Yeah.
And I also, knowing this, want to abolish all improv troupes and turn them into wrestling wrestlers. There's no reason for improv troupes if wrestlers are doing the same thing. So either start wrestling improv troupes or get the hell out of the business.
This declaration brought to you.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Not Water. Not Water.
Yeah. I have very passionate stances on very obscure topics. Improv and water.
Dude, is that like a toy onion ring that you're playing
I have
with?
no idea. I found it on my desk. It's like a wooden ring. I think it goes to my infant son's toy, and now I'm just nervously playing with it.
I was like, what is that thing? But
I'm just doing magic tricks now.
Now you see it
on an audio podcast. Just act amazed, Corey.
Ooh.
Yeah. Whoa, I'm great at magic. Another related entertainment discipline.
It is kind of related. You know, it's weird. Like ventriloquist, prop comics, magic. It's weird how it all gets like wrapped into like comedy, like the comedy umbrella. But like that stuff's kind of different. Like magic is different. Like Amazing Jonathan isn't like a comedian. Like
no.
Like
but
what's the guy?
He was a legend, and he was very funny, and the kind of magic he did was great.
Yeah. And Jeff Dunham. Like if I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, "Oh, who's your favorite comic?" and they're like, "Jeff Dunham." I'm like, oh, he's not really a comedian. I get he's funny.
He's more of a wrestler.
But he's not really
to look at him. Yeah.
We're not really doing that. Not really what I was looking for. We're like it's like I didn't realize I had to talk to people and like they're 8 balls. So this is not good. Check back later.
Yeah, that must be weird to be a ventriloquist, because when you're thinking of jokes, you're like, what would not me say?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of similar as like it's kind of similar to like script writing. I bet, you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, this is an asshole character who I want to get over as an asshole, so I got to make sure he says asshole things. I'll be playing the straight guy. Not that being a not straight guy is the wrong thing.
That's why, look, here's another stance I just developed now.
Just now.
You ready? Now I believe this for the rest of my life. Every comedian should be a ventriloquist. Because, look, if comedians are worried about getting canceled, there's no chance.
Dummy.
You always blame it. Ventriloquists have a perfect out every time. I didn't say that. Ahmed, the terrorist skeleton, said it. Right. I would never say anything like that. So all these comics worried about getting canceled just become ventriloquists. That's what I say. Every comic. Look, if you can't speak without your lips moving, you're not a comedian. And that includes me.
What if you just use your hand? Like, oh, that wasn't me. That
was
me.
My hand. That was my right hand.
You know how they say talk to the hand? They're talking about actually talking to the hand.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do now. If I say anything like unpolitically correct, it's my right hand's fault.
It was my thumbs.
Right, I'm blaming my hand. Does Jeff Dunham have Twitter accounts for all of those different puppets?
If you think about it hard enough, you can avoid accountability for anything.
That's what I'm about. I don't want to take accountability for things. I don't want responsibility for my actions. That's what America is all about.
Yeah, just shift the blame.
That wasn't me. That was a sign of the times. I'm just a product of my generation. That's how to do ventriloquism on a macro level. Just that's just how it was back in my day. That's the puppet talking.
You just have a puppet that's your grandma.
Yeah. My head went to a very dark place. After your grandma dies, you just turn them into puppets, and then you blame all of your racist thoughts on. I mean, my grandma said it. She grew up in a different time.
Hey, man, you have to be careful when you can't say this to your grandma. You can't say it went to a dark place because they don't like the darks.
Uh-huh. So... Luckily, both my grandmas, well, not luckily, both my grandmas are dead. And even if they were alive, they wouldn't know how to download a podcast. So I think I'm okay.
What's the podcast?
I mean, now I'm going to turn them into puppets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it has
obviously
to be the case.
What if Jeff Dunham's skeleton guy puppet is actually his grandma?
Mum-mum.
Mum-mum. There you go. You heard it here first.
Jeff Dunham's mum-mum.
Yep. Let's spread that rumor throughout the world. That's not a puppet. That's his grandmother's remains. And he turned it into a little terrorist puppet.
I mean, it's not. It could be a grandpa too.
Grandpa.
Let's not just.
Yeah, we're gonna have.
I'm gonna have
Dr. Temperance Brennan from Bones analyze what kind of bones the Jeff Dunham puppet has and if they're male or female.
Puppet bones?
Yeah, no one's analyzed them anatomically. Maybe that puppet is a woman and it just identifies as a man. Maybe Jeff Dunham is more woke than we thought. Sure, it's like a racist stereotype of a terrorist, but maybe it's a transgender terrorist.
Renewed. Uncanceled.
There you go. Uncanceled.
Uncanceled. Jeff done no more.
Man, you're 15 for 15 now. This streak is unbelievable. Good for you. You should be proud of yourself. Man. Yeah. Well, is that how you got those big muscles from patting yourself on the back so much?
No, my shoulders are a little messed up. Yeah, got some messed up shoulders from the patting.
There you go. Why are you so sore? Oh, I was just patting myself on the back for making great puns and being woke.
Just stretching for later pats on my back.
Yeah,
you gotta get them stretched.
You gotta stretch before, or else you get sore from patting yourself on the back so much. It's very important.
So, what? This is a weird question that I think is appropriate.
I love weird
as a comedian, as a person, and we actually had this a little bit of a conversation earlier where we talked about the validation that we seek. Mm-hmm. And it goes into the muscle talk too, and the patting myself on the back. The validation that we seek usually comes from some type of damage that we have in our lives, some sort of hole that we need to fill, our depression that comes from somewhere. where do you like point to like that's where it is? That's the depression. That's the hole. That's the damage. What is that for you?
Probably growing up, like having a creative dad, like made it so like I felt like I had to be creative and like prove myself that way. And I remember thinking like, well, I don't want to be an artist because it seems hard to get jobs as an artist. And then I was dumb and fell in love with comedy. How stupid. It's the same shit. So that's probably where it comes from. Like wanting to get validated creatively.
Well, I mean, now that like you do it, is that hole filled some, or is it just like a temporary scratch on an itch?
Oh yeah, the more you accomplish, the deeper the hole goes, and you'll never be able to fill it.
Well,
I hope this is encouraging to new comedians.
Oh yeah, that's the market.
And I'm saying it in a joking way, but I'm totally not joking. I don't see myself ever being satisfied with my career. And I don't think most comedians are. I think there's Jerry Seinfeld, who's very satisfied with his career, and then there's everyone else. No one is satisfied.
You get ready to pat yourself in the back there?
Oh yeah, that's why I'm stretching. Good for me. That was an astute observation, Alex. Good job.
No, I mean, I think that something there's for sure that's absolutely valid in my opinion. I think like you really like hit the nail on the head. I have to say though, I think that there's sort of ways to flex inside of that, to the like to maneuver around that. Like I think the way you talk to yourself about yourself makes a lot of difference. Because like, do you celebrate your stuff? Like you celebrate like dude, you killed it. You nailed it. Like you.
Oh, thanks.
That's special.
I'm learning how to do that. It's kind of a recent development for me because I haven't. This shouldn't come as a surprise, but I've been going to therapy.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. So, like when you hear comedians say that, your reaction should be, well, of course. But I've never done it up until like a couple months ago. And you just learn like to celebrate yourself and like tell yourself that you have worth, which is counterintuitive to what I've been doing my whole life. So it's an interesting and new experience.
Well, how old are you, Alex?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You're younger than I am.
How old are you? You look like you're 23.
I'm 36.
Whoa, killing it.
Dude. I'm old folk.
Nice.
Old folk. as evidenced by my Wild Stallions shirt referencing Bill and Ted.
Nice. I need to watch the new one still. So have you always celebrated yourself, or did you have to learn how to do it too?
Oh, it's an evolving process. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like it's the amount of like you can't let other people's view on you. For me, can't let other people's view on you affect what your worth is to you. Mm-hmm. So it's like a really good friend of mine, and I probably told the story on the podcast a million times. A really good friend of mine was this man, Aaron Gainey. And he used to say to me, like, he was a wrestler too. He used to like help all these people, and he would like get people into the business who didn't belong. Like he was just like, oh, they're big fans, and like I can help someone, so I am going to. And I'm like, and then ultimately those people will wind up screwing him over, or like no showing him, or like kind of like maybe making him look bad at some places. And he'd still be doing it. And I'd be like, Aaron, why do you do like these people don't deserve your help so much? And he's like, yeah, but if I had the opportunity to help somebody and I didn't, I wouldn't be me. So I'm going to continue to help people when I have the opportunity to.
Yeah.
So like that gave him worth in himself, like where he's like, I'm celebrating me in this, you know? So I took a little piece of that and I take it back and I go, well, I haven't made a living on any of the things that I want to make a living in yet, but that's yet. I mean, I'm still affecting as much as I can while I can, you know?
Yeah. And that's something else I've been learning how to do is just enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds trite, but like if you're always just frustrated that you're not at a certain place yet, then you're just going to live out your life miserable. Like your happiness shouldn't be dictated by outcomes. It should just be dictated by your attitude.
There's a band from like back in the day. Back in the day, I'm meaning like the mid 2000s.
Uh-huh.
And they had a song called Hey Jane. The band was called Pink Spiders.
Uh-huh.
And they said, don't let your life's income determine your life's outcome.
That's a great line.
I always held on to that. And I was like, you know, like you're never as like beaten down as you feel inside of your struggles, because on the other side of your struggles are like the best times in your life. So if you're like, man, stuff sucks, then you're like, wow, things are about to be really good. Right?
But then you always look back on those times like, oh man, I was learning so much and that was actually kind of cool what I was doing, even though it was hard. And it's like your friend, like he just enjoyed what he loved about himself and he made sure to always do it.
Right.
Do you want to hear something trippy I've been thinking about lately? Do you like theoretical physics, Cornelius?
Sure.
Well, I think it's quantum theory. I was watching a PBS special, and when you observe like quantum particles, like things that are smaller than atoms, they say that like you observing them actually changes the way they behave. So basically, like the act of observing something changes the way it behaves. So I kind of took that to mean like, well, the way I can only dictate what my reality is by the way I observe it. Like, and that's the same thing for you. Your reality is just you observing reality. And so I can change my reality by the way I'm observing it. So it's kind of like that. I forget what law of theoretical physics it is, but it's like it's not one of the Newton ones, but it's one of the newer ones. The act of observing something changes the way it behaves. So you can make your own reality by the way that you observe it.
Newton, more like Oldton.
Boom! You need like a audio drop or something every time. Yeah, there you go. Just do it by hand. That's right. Acoustic.
But I feel like similar to like a tree falling in the woods. Like the whole idea is like, is it going to make a sound?
It's like
no one's there
that.
to hear. It's like screaming at space. And I say that about what I'm doing here. I'm like, well, who knows? You know, who knows who's listening to this or how many downloads any of it gets? But eventually, I'll know that all this led to whatever winds up being, and I'm gonna never stop doing it. I don't plan on ever stop. If you stop evolving, you start dying.
Yeah.
So I don't plan on stopping.
That's great. And your happiness isn't dictated by results. It's just dictated by your effort and your attitude.
I can't get lost in the statistics or like I don't have anybody going like, hey, your show sucks. Like I'm not big enough for that to happen yet. So I'm like your struggles change when your success changes. You know what I mean? Because like if my show is bigger and a lot of people listen to it, like I can't imagine like Joe Rogan, like 90 million people a month download his podcast. Like, there's comments that are like, dude, F you, man. Your stuff sucks. You're a tool. You're a douchebag. Like, nobody's hitting me with that. I mean, if you hit me with that, sure.
There's definitely some negatives, like the more popular you get.
Right.
Like the Louis C.K., who has been canceled, but I heard it was just a puppet that did it. Anyway, he was on Letterman once. Yeah, it was just a puppet that did all that.
Talk to the hand. It's his fault.
Literally, the hand did all that. Ugh. Anyway, he was on Letterman once, and he said like he was reaching the level of fame where people that didn't want to know who he was starting knowing who he was, which is where you start getting hate from, because you're like, oh, F you, what are you doing in my life? I didn't ask for you. And then that's where all the hate comes from.
Right.
So there's lessons to like not being famous enough to where people that don't want to know who you are.
Right. Well, I mean, I have a lot of things where I'll say, like, if I'm talking about a thing and I can read it on you that you're not liking it, like if I'm saying it right to you and I'm reading on you that you don't like it, I'm like, well, this isn't for you. So I'll switch the topic. If you're downloading a show and you're listening to it, it took that effort. You know what I mean? It took that effort for you to find the thing that you didn't like. But that thing wasn't for you. Doesn't mean that everything sucks. It's just like,
no, it's just the way they perceived it.
And that's why I always, at any point in the show, I always talk about how the currency of your effort, the currency of your attention, because honestly, like when they say paying attention, it took the effort. Like this isn't on the regular TV or radio. You can't just turn it on and it be on. You have to like take some extra steps to get to it.
Yeah.
So if I got your attention and your effort came into getting your attention and I held it for the whole time, I'm so grateful. I'm super grateful. Like I can't do anything except for like just say thank you. And if there's anything in here that's not for you, sorry about that. Maybe keep going. Going. If not, turn it off. Whatever. It's not for you.
Yeah, it's so funny the way people are that like just because they don't like something, they totally discount it for everyone else on the planet.
Right. They talked about a thing on there that I didn't like. Let me tell you my version of the story in which it offended me so that you'll know that it's not for you. Like it didn't give somebody the opportunity to find out for themselves whether they liked it or not.
Yeah.
Being a critic is weird.
Oh, I know. How do you, what like education do you have to get to be a critic? Do you just
I think
major in being an asshole, or what is it?
Oh, a major asshole.
Yeah.
No, I think honestly, I think it has to do with just like having a good spell check, and maybe somebody to proofread your stuff, and then like having a friend who runs a website that like will put it out for you.
Maybe that's
like,
it.
With anything, it's like who you know. It's like
that's
be in the right place at the right time. You know.
Just imagine going to critic school, taking critical 101, and just your professor trying to talk, and then you just constantly interrupt them. I don't think that's right. I don't like the way you phrased it. And they're like, you passed. I'm like, no, I didn't.
You know what that sentence and a basketball have in common? Dribble.
Cornelius with another victory. I know the listeners can't see this, but he gets a look in his eye when he's about to drop some mad fire puns on you. And it's very nice to see. I like watching it happen.
My old roommate would say like he saw me light up as it was time to deliver it. But it's weird is like I don't really do a lot of them in my sets. A lot of puns like because like people go, well, that's lazy. That's lazy. I'm like, well, it takes smarts, and sometimes like it's not my stupidity that makes you not understand it. Like
You don't have kids, right?
No, I don't.
So all of your dad jokes are illegitimate.
Yes.
That's mine that I always drop on people. I love puns.
Illegitimate dad jokes.
Yeah, illegitimate dad jokes.
Well, here's the thing. I started telling a joke and then I pulled out.
That's how you have not a dad joke. A dad joke is not wanting to pull out of the joke.
My dad
joke. Yeah. And you know what? I birthed this joke and I have to stand by it now. And if I abandon this joke, I'm still going to have to pay for it. So I've got to stick with it and be a good nurture this joke.
Joke support.
So
Can't afford the joke support.
People bashing on dad jokes is very irresponsible because we need more like good dad joke role models to nurture these jokes. You can't just abandon them or like pull out. No, you can pull out. That's the responsible thing to do. You're doing the responsible thing. But that was funny that in and of itself was a dad joke. Good for you.
I just did a trivia game the other night on this guy's podcast, and it was like a quizzo game, and he was like, "In what movie did Arnold Schwarzenegger get pregnant?" and I was like, well, the one where he didn't keep it was called The Terminator.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good joke. Oh, pat yourself on the back. Do it.
And then the sequel, while he's walking out of the clinic, it's called Judgment Day. Because the people are all judged.
That's like finding out all the M. Night Shyamalan movies are connected. That's crazy.
You know what's weird? You know what's weird is the thought that I've been having lately, and it's not. It's just. It feels mean. It feels mean when people say, and I don't know why we've normalized this, and I hate it, and I will harshly judge anyone when they do it. When someone says shamalama ding dong, I get so mad. Like it feels like someone's squeezing my balls. I just don't like it at all. It feels racist and hateful.
It's
I don't like it at all.
Very racist.
Like
yes,
you call him Knight. Do something else. Don't call him shamalama ding dong. That feels like cringy. Like it feels like nails on a chalkboard or something. Like I just like that's.
I stand by that. I agree with you.
Yeah. So if you hear anybody say shamalama ding dong, say you are a ding dong. Don't say that.
Yeah. Me and you are going to now start a nonprofit just raising awareness to not call M. Night Shyamalan Shyamalama Ding Dong.
Honestly, dude,
it's great. I shouldn't even have said it in that sentence.
Well, I mean, you had to say it to
I shouldn't have.
Get the point across.
Yeah, the S word. That's what I'm going to say from now on. It's a very niche cause, but I feel like it needs to get awareness. It's not just breast. Everyone knows about breast cancer.
Yeah.
What about M. Night Shyamalan nicknames?
Yeah.
Speaking of awareness.
Well, I mean, also a Philly guy. He's like from around here.
Oh, I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
Philly's got all
his
the
movies
people.
Take place in Philly.
You got Rocky and M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
The big two.
Yeah, and what do you never see like Glass or Unbreakable or
Split?
All that was all Philly, man. Everything was, and his like Apple TV series called Servant. That's like down the street from here.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah,
man, I need to get out more. And you got the cheesesteaks from there.
Dude, come here.
I will.
You can come here. I mean, you got a baby and stuff. Don't bring the baby. I don't like baby. No,
Hey, I got that baby from not pulling out. Okay, thank you very much.
You committed.
I committed to the baby.
How was your baby?
He's
now?
1 year old. Can you hear him in the background
No,
crying?
but
Oh,
no, you
okay.
told
Yeah.
me you had a baby.
When
So
you said M. Night Shyamalan's nickname, he began to weep. He also does not like it when people call him that. He's a very prescient child.
I have a friend. I have a friend who's been on my podcast a few times. He's a motivational speaker. He is like he said this phrase to me, and he like has a T-shirt about it. It says change what we normalize, and I fully support that. It was like here's just a little quick example. Like I was somewhere and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not taking a shower. I'm just gonna take a PR shower real quick, like spray my armpits and stuff." And I was like, "Don't say that." And they're like, "Nobody heard me." And I was like, "It's not about somebody hearing you. It's that you've normalized that to yourself. Change that. Like it's not even though you're not racist." That's racist. Change that.
Oh, I'm just finding out what PR stood for in that sentence. I thought it meant public relations. I'm like,
yes, public relations. That's when you spray.
I've kind of a joke about that in my
apologies on your armpits.
Yeah, did you get that far? Did you get that far in my special? I close on a joke kind of like that.
Dude, I watched the whole thing. I watched it twice,
because I have like an adopted brother who's black, and And I also noticed that like people do that when they're being racist. They'll like look around for the person of that race before they say it. I'm like, it's still racist. It's not like a. It's like you said. It's not like a tree falling in the forest.
Put a cloak over your racism.
Yeah. Get out of here.
I'm Batman.
No one sees.
I got hired for this job like a couple months ago, but I didn't start. When it was like the orientation, it was like a bus driving job. So the orientation of the job was like they make you watch the videos and fill out all the forms. And the lady who was like going over all the paperwork with me, she was like, "All right, this basically just sign this. This, this says you don't talk about this or that and race relations and such." And she's like, as she did the head turn, I was like, "Oh God, something's coming." And she was like, with all the fucking Black Lives Matter thing going on.
Oh no!
And I was like, not here and not can't do that.
Gross.
I was like, yo, bitch ass canceled, Janice.
I got that all on tape. Gonna about to cancel your ass, Janice.
I don't know what her name was, but sure, it sounds like a white lady name. I guess I kind of went with Karen. That's kind of overdone now. I feel like Karen's way overdone.
Yeah. Change what you normalize. We're changing it to Janice now.
Janice now.
You heard it here first on the Evolving with Corey podcast. It's Janice now.
We're evolving what we normalize.
Yes. And Karen was very funny at the beginning before it became a hack thing because it's got that hard K sound. Yeah, but it's over now.
I think that I feel like when I'm on stage, my hard words come like I like to. I don't mind taking out the garbage. I don't, and everything turns like I have to like. Everything.
Yeah. Like, my buddies always make fun of my hard K when I'm on stage. Facebook, like drag it out. But it's funnier that way. Twitter. Gotta enunciate. What were we talking about? We were going in a good direction, and then I derailed it.
We were talking about canceling Janice.
Yes.
So how old's your brother?
He's 17. Yeah, so he's older now.
You said you have older parents too, right? How old are your parents?
63 and 65.
Oh, that's not that old.
That's that old.
I know you
To
were
my younger
like,
brother, who's 17, that's probably pretty old.
when you said you had older parents, I was picturing them being like, "I'm old."
Oh no.
Like, holding their back. They gotta hold their old people gotta hold a cane and hold their back. There's no other way. I'm old.
Mm-hmm. They got sore from patting themselves on the back their whole lives, and now they have back problems. That's why you got to stretch.
Do you remember that old Todd Glass joke when he was like, when I was a kid, I thought 50 was old. Like, be like, I'm 50, and he's like, now that I'm an adult, people are like, hey, I'm 50. Yeah, I'm in a band. We play this Tuesday at the bar. Come
out. He's not from Philly, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's from Philly. You just said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Along with the therapy comes new medications, Corey, and they sometimes mess with me.
Well,
but I'm evolving. I'm learning.
Well, let me.
He's looking. Oh boy, what's happening?
You know that with all this Black Lives Matter.
Oh, jeez.
That sounds like a cop out.
It is. Oh my gosh. That's so funny that's the phrase that you use to get out of responsibility for your actions.
Oh, it's the medication. I'm an Aries.
I know. Oh, no, I have a qualified immunity. That's my cop out. I'm a cop. I shouldn't have to take responsibility for my actions on the job. That's my cop out. That's how it came. Realizing that's where the phrase came from. That's incredible.
I had a bit that I was doing. I did it for like a minute when I was on like the dating apps on like Tinder, the dating apps.
Dating, Tinder,
and then
Bumble.
I saw the one woman's profile and it said a proud Cancer, and I was like, why would you advertise that? That means you're shitty at this relationship. I don't want it. Get out of here.
Do you do that cop out thing on stage? Because that's great.
No.
Okay, cool. I'm taking it then.
Do it. It's yours.
What a shitty comic I am. No, I'm doing that now.
Is that something you do on stage? All right, well, write it down. Cop out.
Yeah.
Have you been on stage? Like, did quarantine like end everything? Is like anything going on in Utah as far as like?
Yeah, the club's open at reduced capacity, and so I opened for Paul Verzi this last weekend, and I'm headlining this weekend.
Well, if you come to this area, and you're like on tour or anything, for sure hit me up because I want to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
I like that we're friends now, and I'm glad that, this is just the start. This is absolutely just the start.
Yeah, I've been doing some of these podcasts to like promote that new special, and I just love that I make all these new friends now. It's great. You're super cool, and I hope people listen to us just fall in love on this podcast because it's been nice for me. I hope nice for you, and I hope I filled the emotional hole that you have, and you filled my emotional hole. Just filling each other's holes emotionally.
Somebody should make a meme of that. Us holding each other's hearts and going, screenshot that.
Or a t-shirt with a hole and it says fill my emotional in parentheses hole. That'd sell really well.
So
that's merch for the Evolving with Corey podcast. You can get it on Teespring.
I don't have merch. I don't have merch for the podcast. I have pro wrestling tees merch. You can get my pro wrestling shirts or this amazing thing.
That's awesome.
T-shirt.
That's great.
My logo.
That's cool.
The thing I want
I'll get one now. I'm going to get one. Do I get a discount? Is there a promo code?
There isn't, But there was a fall sale that just ended.
Ah, shit.
I know that. Well, on Pro Wrestling Tees, I think.
Oh man.
A Teespring shop where actually everything goes directly to the charities that are attached to it.
Oh, cool.
And all the shirts are super duper cheap. They're all nice. Super duper cheap, and nobody ever buys them. Nobody.
For super cheap and for a good cause. You bunch of assholes that listen to this. Buy a t-shirt. Help out a charity. Help out our new charity for M. Night Shyamalan nickname awareness. Call him by his name. His middle name is Night.
Yes. Well, born like I said, I was getting into saying like he's from Philly. Yeah. So like I did background in the Last Airbender.
Ooh.
Back 11 years ago.
That's cool.
And one of the other background actors was this kid Jay, and he went to kindergarten with Knight, and he was like, Manoosh, get over here, and like he called that's what the M is.
No way, Manoosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so they just chummed it up for a while, man. And I was like, you know what? I hope I never hear another person call him Ding Dong because I hate it.
Oh, I know. And that makes me sad he felt like he had to go by M. Manoosh is like one of the all-time great first names.
It is.
I'm going to rename my son Manoosh now.
It's like 1-year-old is about the good time to rename somebody.
Yeah. It'll be confusing for him, but only for a little bit. He doesn't know words yet. Manoosh!
Confush!
He's going to be very confused.
But,
yeah, you never think about Confucius's parents that they picked that name out for him. Confucius. Good for them.
Confucius had to be very certain in everything he said. Like, Confucius, you're just confused. No, I'm very certain about everything I say.
That's how he became so wise. Was everyone was
he was rebelling
making fun of his
name.
Yeah. We never think about Confucius's childhood and the childhood bullying he had to put up with the name
new
Confucius.
Bits that we're working on. We got new bits that we're put that in
you
your
can
set.
have that one. I'll have the last one. You have that one.
All right. I think I like Confucius. Confucius has to be very certain.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, that's all better. You, baby. That's a great
Then
bit.
the cop out one. You can keep the cop out.
Okay, thanks. I'll see if I can get away with it in Utah.
Is it very conservative there?
Yeah, in general, but at the comedy club it feels like pretty liberal. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. Like it's tough when you have.
And you're in a swing state.
When you got bits that are like, kind of like you gotta like have a free way of thinking. You know what I mean? You gotta open up your brain ski. If you're already like, Democrats are bad. Like when you just like dig your heels into stuff and you're not ready to like open up to the idea that this is supposed to be jokes and this is supposed to be funny.
Yeah. Are there any like middle of the road people anymore? Do they exist, do you think? I think they're kind of going extinct.
Well, do you remember Brian Regan's last special? He did it. He's like, a lot of things changed since last time. We got a new president.
I don't know if
I've never been more scared to talk about this before. Anyway, I just got like two more things that I want to say, and then we can wrap this thing up.
Cool.
I'll send you off with a hot dog and a handshake, and we can take it home.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
That sounds weird, but okay. I agreed to it tacitly.
Well, a hot dog and a handshake is like the joke of what independent pro wrestling paydays are.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not real. Like they don't really get paid.
It's not a whole night hot dog with your handshake.
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't know the lingo. I apologize.
Nobody does.
That's on
Nobody
M. Night
does.
Shyamalan disrespect levels that I just did, and I apologize profusely. Anyway, go for it. I keep derailing you.
You just threw off the minutia.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
blown away. I am not being sarcastic. This is impressive. This whole thing. You guys should seriously be applauding in your cars if you're listening to this.
I gotta
Corey
get
is crushing on a level I have never seen before.
And no one's heard before because no one listens.
They do.
But no, of course, I'm joking. But the thing I want to say is like your son is 1 at this point, right? Can you imagine when he's like 31? When he goes like, oh, I wonder what dad was really like. Let me go through like audio files. It's probably going to be something different by then.
This will be like old-timey radio to him.
But this audio, this podcast, this format is going to outlive us. So I, at this point, say, what on the record would you want? What's his name?
Isaac.
Would you want Isaac, a.k.a. Manouche, to... what would you want him
Manouche.
Watch him at 31 years old when he listens to this. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to be Manouche now.
I would hope that he's his own person. And that,
Well, this is what I wanted to do where I say, this is audio time travel. Okay, so right now, you're speaking directly to your adult Manouche. Adult son, yes.
Okay, Manouche, sorry I renamed you at 1. I'm sure that messed you up growing up. And I'm sure you go by M now. But I want you to know, just be yourself. Just be Manouche. Go by Manouche. And that's a metaphor for you. And I know I sound like I'm kidding, but this is the real advice I would give you, is be Manouche. And so many people worry about what their dads think or their parents think, and just know that you should do what you enjoy and do it for your own reasons. And enjoy it. Don't be frustrated by the outcomes of what you do. And I'm proud of you, even though that shouldn't matter, Manouche. That's probably what I'd say.
Well, that's weird. Honestly, I in sincerity, like parents don't tell their kids that they're proud of them enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like you seek that for your entire life.
Yeah.
Like you will seek it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like I get myself in modes where I'll be like, oh man, I can't wait till I make my mom proud of me. And my mom will be like, dude, I'm already proud of you. Stop. I look at you. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
But I want to earn it, Mom. I want you to hate me for a while, and then I want to earn
it. But so at this point, I also I say that to tell you about my mom. When I started this podcast, my mom said to me, she had burned onto a CD a voicemail from her mom and from her best friend. Both had passed. And she said to me, I wanted this because you know how like when people pass, you forget what their voice sounds like. And I was like, I don't want that for me. When I pass, I want you to be able to go back and hear my evolution. You want to be able to hear like where I grew up as a person. Like I started this at 33 and where I go beyond that. So I like to have conversations on the record. So I had my mom on the show and I had to tell her how much I'm grateful for who I am based on how she's raised me. And her struggles and everything. I saw the sacrifices that she was making. and now appreciate it as a person who has my own sacrifice. When
Mm-hmm.
my mom was my age, she had 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even imagine that. I couldn't imagine that. Like, and how ill-equipped I would be to raise anybody's kids. Right.
Oh, I
So,
know.
on the record, at this point, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your time and appreciate, dude. Like, you're doing some great work, man. And I can't wait to
Thanks,
see. I
man.
can't wait to
You
see where
too.
you go. I can't wait to see where this friendship goes. It's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see. You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
projects come up, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm psyched that I get to be like on the ground floor of it.
And I'd like to say on the record, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with you. You have great energy, and I can tell you're a great person that cares about others. And I think that's very admirable. And I love that your personal philosophy is what it is. And I think that's great. And I'm glad that you've dedicated yourself to spreading that to other people. And I think that's fantastic. So I have to end everything sincere I say with so, and then not have anything to follow up.
Well,
That's just how I talk.
my brother and I make this joke all the time. It's like how people end things with so. My brother would be like, my job gave me a company car, so it'll always be like to end where it's like my whatever my thing is better than whatever your thing is. Like
it's like a Netflix ending, like to an episode of something on Netflix, like so, and it's a cliffhanger. You want me to keep going with this conversation? I'll keep going. Continue watching, please. I wonder where he's going with this. I think you're a great person. So, and then next episode, you're a piece of shit.
So that was what I was going to do, but you kind of beat me to the punch on this. Was I was going to ask you if you had anything you wanted to say or ask to me before we do the rap ski.
What do I want to ask you?
I mean, you already said it. So, I mean, you already said the stuff that you wanted to say.
Was I right in what your
was
I right in what your like personal philosophy and mission is? Kind of.
Dude. I think it didn't take long for you to nail it.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm a forensic personality reader.
And I'm a little snake in the grass. I'm a little politicker. So I'm hoping that me getting in on the ground floor here can help me kind of ride your coattails later.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I don't know. That's kind of what I want to do with my life as well. Like I named my son, ride coattails. No, spread because I think that's a big problem in the world, especially now, is that we're not empathizing with other people and like why they may think the way that they do. And that you can disagree with them, but like maybe you should also kind of see where they came from and why they think the way that they do. And that goes for both sides. And so I love that that's what your philosophy is. And I would just hope that that's something that more people can adopt, because the more we evolve as a society, like your logo there. You like this product placement I'm doing? I'm freaking crushing this monologue right now.
It's amazing.
The more we evolve as a society should be the more empathy we have for other people. And you can see how it's progressed, and it's encouraging the way it's progressed. And you can also see how much further we have to go with trying to put ourselves in other people's shoes. So that's kind of what I want to do. I take big stock in like name meanings, and my name means helper of man.
I don't know what my name means, but
it's Cornelius.
Well, my real name is actually James. It's not.
Oh, it is?
No, it's like it's just a stage name. But
I see.
But I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Maybe that means that maybe it means that I go to the gym.
It means supplanter. I'm just looking it up right now.
Oh, I supplant.
Yeah, it has to do with what you're saying, though, evolving. And that's kind of how society works, is that the new generation supplants the old one and does a better job of things.
Well,
right?
That's what I hope to do.
Yeah, so, there you go. So you're doing it.
We opened up the show how I normally close out the show, where I say hypothetically, I've gifted you this podcast, wherein this is the very first episode, the pilot episode, if you will, of Evolving with Alex Velluto.
Okay.
In a very Jerry Springer's final thought sort of way, would you wrap it up in like a quick minute, however long it takes, to just kind of like put a little bow on what this episode's meant and what life lessons can be sponged out of it?
Enjoy the journey. No matter how trite that sounds, don't let your happiness be derived from your results, and know that like on a what's it called? Oh man, you're a supplanter and I'm a helper. No, on a physics level. Like according to the laws of physics, you can change your reality by perceiving it a certain way.
Y'all, if yous can change and I can change,
then we all can change. Oh my gosh. Swish. That was as good of a bow as you can possibly get. Holy shit.
I want to make sure that I tell you that I'd be happy to be any resource for you I can possibly be.
Oh, likewise.
If you need a friend, if you just need some sort of whatever, if you want to, get stuff off your chest, I'm always here for you, man. You have my number. Man. Text me anytime. I'm always around. If you're coming to Philly, I got a good little couch here you can crash on.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, likewise. I don't know why you'd come to Utah, but if you decide to, I'm here for you.
Well,
and hopefully
maybe I can see what the what do they got, the Chuckle Hut?
Yeah. No, it's Wise Guys.
Wise Guys. Maybe I come see what the Wise Guys is all about.
Yeah, do it, man.
What's the indie wrestling scene like in Utah?
I think there is a little one. I know that. Yeah. Those are where my friends wrestle. So
you're perking up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll put in a good word.
Well,
send me your wrestling reel.
I will.
Oh no,
but
I'm probably making promises I can't keep.
No, it's not a promise. There's no promise.
You have a big in on the indie wrestling scene. In
big old stab in the dark. It doesn't. It's not something I'm going like. Well, Alex said he was going to put the word in. Alex, I'm not holding my breath. Don't worry. But yeah, dude. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your effort. Thanks so much for your attention. Anybody listening, if this is your first time checking out Evolving with Corey Castle, go back and check out the other 203 episodes. And, let me know how you feel. Let me know you exist. Let me know you like it. Let me know you dislike it.
Leave a 5-star rating and review. Am I right, Corey?
And check out Alex's podcast. What's your podcast called, Alex?
It's called Free Lunch with Alex Velluto. So I buy lunches for strangers on Craigslist, and much like this show, I find out what I have in common with them. So it's both weird and awkward and funny, but also kind of nice to find out what you have in common with just a random person.
One of my podcasts that I used to listen to all the time was this guy from New York, and he would like talk about the listeners of the podcast and what complaints they had. He was like, "Oh, cool, complain about your free lunch." I don't. You're not charged for this show. We complain about your free lunch. So,
yeah, exactly. It's a free podcast.
So take that sound clip, isolate that, and have that as the intro to your podcast.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna do that actually. That's a fantastic idea.
All right, man. Well,
all right.
I hope everything goes well for you, man. And I'm on your side. I'm glad to be on your team, and I'm glad you're on mine. And let's do this again sometime, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Be fun,
for sure.
Have safe, and keep evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.